to the observant out there, you see the black shirt. So you know what I'm going to be doing today, buddy. Anyway, I went onto a forum today, kind of. It was, I did an internet search for something, and then one of the pages it showed was to a forum. I'm not going to mention it. And they were discussing short bows and anchor points and all that stuff. And there's this big discussion going on. The gatekeepers, the people that know everything, which we are graced with their presence, we're talking about how, yeah, unless you have a fully anchored draw, oop, I hit the arrow on the end of that, you can't be accurate. It's funny, some people reference, like, Ishay was having an archery contest, target shooting with Saxton Pope, right? And Saxton Pope beat him every time. But on the flip side, Ishay was better at hitting small game, so it's all what you're used to, than Saxton Pope. He was better at hitting rabbits and stuff, scurrying around. Then it gets into, that's not the discussion here, well, I saw pictures of him, and he was anchoring to the chest. He had a knot. He didn't anchor. He anchored this way. He anchored that way. He was shooting this way. I call that Mediterranean bias. I just made that up just now. Impressive, right? And I would counter with, think about it. Just try it on your own. Just try it on your own and see. That a non-anchored shot can be extremely accurate. Let's take a look at it. I don't want to be aggressive and shoot you. I might flinch and then shoot my camera. But look at that. Shaking a little bit. Non-anchored shot. And what am I doing? I'm actually sighting down the arrow. Just like if, it's a very short bow, so I'm not going to do it. If you're doing this, I'm in a way kind of sighting down the arrow. Some people do that. John's eye view. Looking down the arrow shot. So it's not the anchor point. Again, this is just my own personal philosophy. That's not accurate. It's your release. The release. With an anchor point, you're kind of wherever your anchor point is, it's anchored, so you still need a smooth release, but it's more magnified when it's like this. So if you can develop a smooth release and shoot in a way that you're kind of looking down the arrow, extremely accurate. I was keeping my wife busy yesterday. Watch it. Because she was deadheading the flowers and I was standing for my hay bale between 15 and 20 yards away, right? Non-anchored, sighting down the arrow. And boom, come here. Right in the middle of the bullseye. Doing it again. She wanders off, standing further back. Come here. Look at, walking into the garage. Another bullseye. She was getting kind of upset on me, but three, my bullseye is about this big around. Up to 20 yards, non-anchored shots, just shooting, looking down the arrow and hitting it with this bow right here. And with that short hickory bow, I was shooting both of them, playing around with just a totally non-anchored, because I can anchor, like this, or I can just shoot them non-anchored like this. And in a lot of paintings, and I understand, it's not like taking a photograph, but if you look at some of the Catlin paintings, I need to look that up. I think it's Catlin. This is a very nice bow, BTW. They show the warriors like this, basically sighting down the arrow. Whether or not they're doing it psychologically or they are conscious every time they do it, you're sighting down the arrow. And again, it's the release, whether pinch grip or whatever. A lot of them use pinch grips, basically pulling the bow away from them anchoring in the air, but in a place where you can sight down the arrow, and then as soon as they hit that draw weight, you know, it just automatically releases because of amount of pressure. But yeah, I was also shooting Joe's bow that he gave to me, and I like the personal kind of flares that people put on it. Joe's, you know, tips he did for me, eagle on the end of it, and it's got like a shelf, which I appreciate because I need to like do a little sanding on my arrow, so I'm constantly getting like arrow rash here. But I was having fun with this one too, and I like how everyone does different bows. It's a nice bow, fun to shoot, and a good weight too. Then I did some useful stuff. Oh, the mummy bow, Will's bow, and I'm going to keep this on here for a while. I took it off, did this last night, right? Send you back a bow. And I took the mummy wrap off to look at it, and it's going to take a little longer to dry than like some of the other ones I've been doing, because I actually put 2 layers of sinew on there. So it's thicker. You could tell if you held this, you know, Osage sinew back bow for the size is remarkably heavy, but it'll lose weight because there's water in the interspersed the sinews. Yeah, that'll be a good one. I like it. No internal defects in the Osage. What else? Yeah, I'm gonna make a set of arrows for myself, because I do loves me some target shooting. It's been a while since I just sat and just shot, but I've been having fun, and remarkably, I'm actually hitting stuff. You know, it's been a while, but yeah, having fun. And really digging the unanchored shooting technique. And I've changed it a little bit. I was, up till like yesterday, really, I was unconscious of how I was doing it. But yesterday, it's like, you know, you could do the same thing for years and years and years. And suddenly, like, the light bulb clicks up above your head, and I'm realizing I'm sighting down the arrow when I'm doing it this way. Usually I would do a different one, but I changed it up. So I'm actually, you know, just a different angle here, and it's like, wow, I get it now. I get it why they say that some of the shots that they saw Lakota doing, you know, hitting like a fist-sized object at 30 yards. This is the cavalry people talking about that, how remarkably accurate it is. And it shows some bias too, because on that forum, they're going, well, you don't need to be accurate and have an anchor, you know, if you're hitting a buffalo-sized object 5 feet away. It's like, you know, try it a little bit. Experiment a little bit. See how it works before you start pronouncing it, you know what the heck is going on. But yeah. It actually kind of seems, I'm just rambling here, it seems kind of odd that, you know, I'm sure they were anchoring to their chest and stuff like that. Just to get an anchor, I have to have an anchor, when, you know, if you practice in a certain methodology, you don't have to have an anchor. Yeah, I'm trying to picture how if you anchor it to your chest, how you could actually, you know, aim. Whereas if you're up here, it's just a matter of the release, however you release. Using the arrow as a reference, just as if you were doing this. See? Isn't that tricky? Well, anyway, I'm going to prepare for the day. I done did my chores. I scooped some cat litter. I'm sorry if I offended you with that. Took garbage out. Ate some breakfast. And unwrapped and wrapped the mummy bow. I haven't discussed this with William, so William, cover your ears. I'm actually going to bring it up. I don't know. Maybe think about it. I'm not just going to go do it, but rawhide backing over the sinew. Possibly, maybe. It would slow down the curing process, and it's not 100% necessary. You know, it's something to think about. Then it's on to Carlos's bow, which is pretty much similar. Carlos is a bow maker. I'm not sure if Will has made bows. I'll discuss that with him too. Carlos, on the other hand, is a bow maker. And so maybe, you know, if the Seaman wanted his rawhide back, he'd be willing to wait. He's in a different climate than I am, you know, drier and warmer. Sinew backing it, letting it dry down, of course, and then rawhide backing it, and then, you know, the Seaman can like let it cure, and if it needed some final tillering, which probably wouldn't, you know, and he's speaking with him, rather say flexible with the draw weight. It just needs to be somewhat heavy bow. Would be wanting me to rawhide back it, you know, and then just waiting and then doing some final tillering afterwards, because it would be very minor. It would be probably sanding or some scraping, you know, to get it perfect. Although I would suspect that before I rawhide backed either of these bows, it would dry down enough to where I can do some checking of the tillering, and, you know, dollars to donuts. If you get the tillering down before you sinew back and you do an even sinew backing job, you know, it doesn't need to be 100,000% perfect. It just needs to be very close, which this one is, and the next one will be too. The chances are it'll be final tillered. Yeah. Okay. That's enough ramblings for today. I tied you up long enough. You are released from this formation.